Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you stopping by. Today is certainly a day that a lot of you guys have been waiting for, and it's a day that I've been very excited about because I'm finally able to talk about WWE 2K18. Now, as most of you probably know, last week 2K brought me and a couple other YouTubers out to their studios to talk about the WWE 2K franchise. You know, what we would like to see going forward, some of the issues we had in the past, and we spent the entirety of the day, you know, talking about the game, what needs to be in it, what shouldn't be in it, our problems, like I said, with 2K17, etc., etc. But we also, that day, learned a lot about stuff that's already in development for WWE 2K18, so I can finally announce some brand new features, some modes, all that kind of stuff, right here, right now. So I need you guys to hit that thumbs up button as hard as you possibly can if you're excited about 2K18. Now, I just have a document here on my screen in front of me, so I'm basically just going to read off the notes that I took while they were showcasing some of the new stuff in 2K18. I will say this. We didn't play the game. We didn't see gameplay. That's not true. We didn't see extensive gameplay. I'll say that. I'll say that. We saw something, and I'll talk about what I saw in a little bit. So I'm basically just going to read it off. And later on this week, as the days go by, I'm going to pick some of these things and dive into them a little deeper, give you a more in-depth, breakdown kind of what we talked about with those specific things. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of that stuff. Without further ado, I'm going to read off my notes. Hopefully y'all get an idea of what's going on here, and we'll take it from there. Number one. This section are the primary focuses of WWE 2K18 since they began development. The primary focuses of 2K18 are realism, be like no one, which is the headline they're going with, the most comprehensive WWE experience ever, and multiple man/woman mayhem. What does that mean? Let's find out. Let's move on a little bit. There will be a brand new My Player-based experience. So, one of the things that the NBA franchise does so well is the My Career, My Player integration, stuff like that. So there will be a new progression and upgrade system for your player, for your created character, and they're introducing what's going to be called fighting styles, essentially. So, depending on the type of wrestler you are and, what your moveset is, etc., if you're a high flyer, if you're a giant, if you're blah, 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 blah. They kind of used to do this back in the day. The first thing that pops in my head is WWE All-Stars, how you had, your giants and you had your high flyers and stuff like that. So I feel like this year they're going to kind of compress what you're able to do based on your fighting style. So, again, this isn't 100% confirmed, but maybe if you're a 7-foot, 350-pound giant, you might not be able to do moonsaults and crazy, corner diving moves and stuff like that. Again, I'm not sure if that's the case, but that's what they made it seem like they're going for here. Now, My Career mode, the mode that I talked about a lot when I had my time to say things with the developers. Free roaming backstage is returning in My Career. Baby, that's awesome. There will be a new promo engine. They're calling it Promo Engine 2.0. We kind of ragged on them about their promo system, and they sat there and I'll tell you this. 2K, especially the WWE 2K people, they get a bit of a bad rap for, sometimes lack of communication with the community. What seems like sometimes lack of desire to push the game forward. But if you spoke to these people and if you had a conversation about what they're trying to do and where they want this game to go, but the restrictions that they have because of outside things, you'd really start to understand, wow, these guys want the same stuff that I do. It's just a matter of whether or not we can actually make it happen. Anyway, I'm trying not to go off on too many tangents. And there will be a brand new story in My Career, which they said is going to be a lot more compressed from 2K17, because 2K17 was just never ending. It just never ended. It just kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going. Then you fight Baron Blade and Kevin Owens and Baron Blade and Kevin Owens and Baron Blade and Kevin Owens. And again, this is stuff we all brought up to the developers. They said, brand new story, That shouldn't happen this year. It's much more compressed. It's replayable. You're going to want to go back and replay through it because of different branching things and this and that. Sounded really cool. There will be a new online My Player mode called Road to Glory. They gave us no details about this. Why? Because they probably want to save that for maybe closer to the release to hype the game up more. They basically said there's a brand new game mode. It's online only. It revolves around your My Player, and it's called Road to Glory. On the surface, that sounds really good. And I think myself and Pulse both said this. Like, on the surface, that sounds really good. But if your online is still terrible, it's not going to matter. And they pretty much said, we're working on that. So, brand new online mode coming this year. That sounds really cool. Creation Suite is getting a pretty decent overhaul. They're adding in Create a Match. Create a Match is finally coming back, so you can set certain stipulations. You want DQ on or rope break off or, you know, blood. I don't know if they're going to be blood options, honestly. There should be, but not entirely sure with the whole PG thing or whatever. They didn't really go in depth as far as what exactly you're going to be able to customize, but if they're bringing back the Create a Match feature, I'm sure there's going to be enough options in there to make people want to use it. You know what I mean? And they added new options and additions to Create a Superstar, Create a Video, and Create an Arena. So those three specifically, those three creation features, they really improved upon, which is cool. Create a Finisher. They were tight-lipped about it, but they made it seem like it's not coming back. They didn't flat outright say it's not there. Which, again, I should also note, they didn't tell us everything. There's still stuff that they're keeping close to the chest so that they can kind of surprise people. So, like, you're going to hear a lot of stuff today in this video, and you should know that this isn't it. Like, there's even stuff that I don't know. So, certain things could change. There could be new last-minute additions. But as of right now, I'm pretty sure Create a Finisher is not going to be in the game. For the Create a Superstar, there's brand new base models which reflect all ethnicities, which is amazing. Because in the past, the default Create a Superstar, it looks like a rubber. It doesn't look like a person. You know, it looks like a created character. So they're really trying to make the base characters much more realistic, so you can really create just more authentic looking Create a Superstars and whatnot. So that sounds pretty cool. They said they rebuilt those features from the ground up as far as the base model and the Create a Superstar stuff. So this is what I have written on the thing. It just says Create a Superstar, new base models, ethnicity, rebuilding features from the ground up is what they said. We've come to probably my favorite part, and it's just my favorite part. No one else is going to care. They're bringing back a free cam. What? So in Create a Video, create a highlight, all that kind of stuff, they're enhancing that so you can take clips from your match. You can pause the game and say, hey, I want that clip. You can take it. You can save it. You can go back into it using a free cam and spin around and see the things. Like, I've been wanting a friggin' free cam for so long. Like, the amount of content I'm thinking about now, having that free, you know, it makes for such better visuals when you can, like, go back and create these promos and stuff. The YouTube content for 2K18, if this lives up to the hype and it actually comes out the way that I hope it does, it's got YouTube. Better watch out. There's gonna be a lot of up and coming WWE 2K YouTubers because they're finally adding in features that lets us make some decent content. Customize match types and save them. So, you know, this is going back to the create a match type. You know, once you create one, you can save it and it'll show up in the normal match type when you want to select your matches, etc. People, we're not even close to done yet. There's still a lot of huge bombs I'm about to drop on you. Most realistic WWE game ever is what they're calling it. And that's kind of something, you know, we use those taglines basically all the time. So that is what it is. How about this, y'all? Brand new graphics engine. I hereby solemnly, no, not solemnly, what's the word I'm thinking of? I hereby humbly pay my condolences to the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions. But I say thank you for your sacrifice, because the lack of last gen for this game is going to make the actual game that's going to come out a hell of a lot better. Why? New graphics engine. which means that stuff that they weren't capable of doing because they had to allocate resources to both last gen, new gen, going back and forth, etc., etc. That's why there's going to be a lot more new features in 2K18. And I was honestly surprised at all this stuff that I left with that day when I left 2K, because it's a lot of really dope stuff. New graphics engine. They said NBA quality level. That's what they said. I didn't say it. That's what they said. I don't know. Skin shaders, physical-based rendering, real-time reflections, new lighting, skin effects, camera effects, all that kind of stuff is brand new this year. Brand new engine for it. And now I can tell you about the gameplay that I saw. We saw a side-by-side screenshot of Randy Orton's entrance from 2K17 and from 2K18. They said there's going to be a new Randy model. There's going to be a new Randy model for 2K18, but they transferred over the 2K17 model into the new engine, and it looked like a brand new model. It looked like you were watching actual wrestling television. The lighting, the shadows, the reflections, like we got to see the side-by-side 17 versus 18. And 18 blew it out of the water. And like I said, 18 was even using an old model of Randy Orton. So imagine having the brand new Randy model in there. Like, graphics-wise, this is going to be the best looking game ever. That I can say for certain. Graphics-wise, visually, it's going to be the best looking game yet, which is really cool. Let's keep it moving. I still got 2 more pages of stuff. New commentary team. Cole, Sexton, and Corey Graves. The new 3-person commentary team. That's going to make everything sound so fresh. I love Jerry the King Lawler. He's great, but it was time to move away from that. It's going to feel like a completely different situation now. Corey Graves, Byron Saxton, Michael Cole are the announcers for WWE 2K18. That's huge. New arenas, new chants, new ring announcer. No more Lillian Garcia. JoJo is now in the game. Okay. Multiple referees. We're not going to have the same referees all the time. They couldn't get the rights to, the actual referees, because apparently WWE is a little iffy with their licensing and promotions of referees versus talent. They don't consider referees to be, in the same level as talent, so giving them individual licenses to be in the game and stuff it's a messy situation. So there will be multiple referees, but they're not going to be the authentic WWE referees, which at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing. Brand new crowd system. They're redoing the entire crowd system. So the animations, the reactions, all type of stuff, going to be brand new. We also saw a Seth Rollins screenshot from 2K18, side by side from 2K17. It looks good. It looks really, really good. I'll say that. Now, the rest of this is just a couple notes that we were able to pull out of them. Or wait, my notes are all over the place. I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep talking. My Career Invasion, they said, is going farther. I don't know what that means. There might be a more integrative way to play with your friends in My Career. Maybe this means you guys can be a tag team together. That'd be crazy. I don't know. But they said it's going farther. So, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Biggest WWE roster ever by far, they said. They said by far. So last year had 150 or something like that. They said by far. They wouldn't give us an exact number, but we pressed them a little bit. It's going to be pretty close to 200. There's going to be close to 200 superstars in this game on the roster. That's wild. That's crazy. Expanded backstage brawling with new arenas and interactive objects. That means it will be expanded outside of the Monday Night Raw backstage area. There'll be more places to fight at. There will be different areas and spots you can go to and interact with. That sounds pretty cool. Very few notes about WWE Universe mode. Didn't really talk about it a lot. They were very tight-lipped about it. There's an expanded story system. Because of all the things that changed in WWE, there's 2 brands now. All they said is there will be an expanded story system, and they rewrote Universe mode completely, which, you kind of had to, because now there's 2 separate rosters with their own sets of champions and times and dates. It's they had to rewrite it. And they did, which is good to know. stories will carry across pay-per-views, and they start and or stop because something happens instead of it being randomly triggered. So the stories are going to feel more organic, apparently. For example, if you have a fight with an opponent and you're beating his ass after the match, maybe somebody will come in and make the save. Maybe it's their tag team partner, and now there's a rivalry brewing between you two. And that's something that flowed with the story. It's not like I'm beating up The Undertaker afterwards, and here comes Santino talking about, why'd you steal my girlfriends? Like, it's not going to be these random things back and forth. There's actually going to be some rhyme or reason to them, which is good to know. I personally asked this question, will there be a draft? They said no. But you will have the same capabilities to edit your rosters just like you have in previous years. I know that, even I was like, oh. And he was like, yeah, I know. But I was like, oh, that's, a draft system. Even if it's just starting a brand new universe mode. Like, hey, brand new universe mode. Start draft. Even if it's like completely random or whatever. I would have liked to see a little mini addition like that in the game. But unfortunately, there's not going to be a draft in 2K18. As far as gameplay goes, I got to get more comfortable. I'm sitting here talking my ass off. There's a new carry and drag system. So dragging has always kind of been a little wonky when you got to grab your opponent, put them in a certain place, whatever, blah, blah, blah. There's a brand new system in place where you can pick up and carry your opponent and place them wherever you want to. And there's also now mid-move adjustments. So there's things you can trigger within certain moves. Let's say you're going up for a power bomb and you're facing the ropes and you're like, oh God, this is not the best place to do it. In the middle of the move, you can now turn around and flop them in the middle of the ring. So you have more control over where you put your opponents at certain times, which is really, really cool. And they added in what's called a new position feeding system. So, for example, the AI will adjust itself based on where it is to kind of keep the match flowing and make everything seem visually fluid. Because if you do a move near a corner, sometimes the guy gets flopped up in a corner. He's like, oh, I don't know where to go. My leg is over my head and stuff. He will move himself or herself into a different position. Like, he'll prop himself up in a corner so you can do a follow-up move. Or he'll, roll over and get away from the ropes so you have more so you have more room to do different maneuvers and stuff, which sounds really cool. We didn't get to see any of that, but on the surface, it sounds pretty cool. Backstage Brawl is coming to online. That's pretty cool, and they improved the community creations search engine. Thank the friggin' Lord. Because if I search for Byron Saxton on the community creations, you're going to get 14 Chris Dangers, you're going to get Brian Pillmans, and you're going to get saxophone logos. But you won't get one Brian Saxton. It'll be close. You'll get people whose initials are BS. Well, I can't think of any right now, but that's what you'll get instead of what you're searching for. So they said they completely reworked that. Now, I saved some of the best stuff for last. 8-man or woman matches are now possible. Ladder matches, Royal Rumbles, 8-man tags, and Battle Royals can now have up to 8 people in the ring. This is huge because this is the first time ever since... Is it ever? I want to say ever. I feel like maybe some of the really, really, really old wrestling games, because they didn't really have a lot of data, maybe have more. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is the first time ever you can have 8 people in the ring at once. That's huge. That's a brand new addition. That's a big step in the right direction, if you ask me. They revamped the Royal Rumble. Brand new eliminations, new AI, smart pairing, which means if Kofi's in the ring and Woods comes out and Jey Uso's in the ring, Woods and Kofi are going to team up against Jey Uso because they're on the same team. Maybe, and there might be new animations where they start to go back and forth a little bit. So this is all new stuff they added to the Rumble to make it a lot cooler, which sounds really cool. And finally, there is a new Elimination Chamber model because of the updated Elimination Chamber model in real life. Whew. So that about does it. That's everything we learned about WWE 2K18 at our time at 2K. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot to digest. You're probably going to have to go back and listen to this a couple times. And like I said, later on this week, I will talk about specific individual things. So again, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up button if a lot of this sounds good to you. Because to be honest, a lot of it sounds good to me. Now, before I wrap this video up real quick, I just want to make something very, very crystal clear. There's this misconception that WWE YouTubers, which I don't even necessarily consider, whatever. Let's, for the sake of argument, myself, Pulse, Luigi, Tony, Tubby, etc., etc. There's this, like, idea that, oh, we always say the game is going to be great. And, oh, we go to 2K and we get to play them early because we're corporate shills and we're yes men and we just like... If you could have been in that room with us when we were talking with 2K, like, I don't think that there's a community that's more honest and vocal about what's wrong than we are. You know what I mean? I feel like the 2K developers get it a lot more than other developers get it. That's how I personally feel. Like, we have all been 100% transparent with them, with you guys, with everybody. So, if I tell you something is good, or if I say, hey, this sounds really cool, it's because that's how I actually feel. My opinion is not for sale. All of this sounds really good. Everything I said in this video sounds awesome. Imagine if all of this stuff came out exactly like I said it was going to, and WWE 2K18 is going to be the greatest game ever, whatever. Imagine that, right? Is that going to happen? I don't know. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be excited about the potential for that to happen. Because people say, oh, you guys say this every year. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Because on the surface, it seems like it's going to be great. You know what I mean? Like last year, we played the game early for hours. And it felt amazing. I left the 2K17 playtest being like, this is the game. This is going to be it. This is going to be dope. And then just as time went on, and you spent more time with the game, you started to see, oh, okay, that's not right, that's not right, ooh, that's not good, oh God, what is that? Like, but you don't realize that until you spend a lot more time with the game. You understand what I'm saying? So, if I tell you something is good early on and then it turns out not to be good, that's not really my fault, because I'm always gonna be honest with you about how I feel about it. If none of this stuff excited me, I'd be like, it's 2K17 and a half. Don't bother buying it. You know what I mean? But that's not how I feel. I think if all these additions go through the way that they made it seem like they wanted to go through, and everything, you know, works out for the better this year, this could and can and might be a much better game than 2K17, even 2K16, even 2K15, hell, maybe even 2K14. I don't know. I think it's going to be good. I hope it's going to be good. And I'm sure you guys hope it's going to be good as well. So, make sure you hit that thumbs up button as hard as you possibly can if you're excited about 2K18. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can hear more in-depth stuff about the game coming up later this week. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Greatly appreciate your support. It's 2K18 season. We're getting ready to get rocking on it. So buckle up and prepare your booties. Thank you for stopping by. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you soon.